Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review, and today we are featuring Andra from Masters of the Universe Revelation. Right, so this action figure belongs to the Masterverse line, as you can see up here on top of the box. On the side of the box, we have a cool illustration of Andra, and she's wearing her kind of like mask helmet deal. Nice illustration. On the back, we have a cool artwork and a brief bio. Andra, heroic officer of Eternos. The brains to Tila's brawn, Andra dreams of being a hero while her crestfallen partner tries to leave that life behind. The starry-eyed scavenger always has a technological trick up her sleeve, whether using her genius to create inventions or relying on her scrappiness and speed to evade evil. Andra reminds all Eternians what heroes are, and not what they can be again. And what they can be again, right? I said that wrong. Other figures in this wave are Fisto, Scareglow, and Stinkor. I do have Fisto. I plan on reviewing him soon. I saw Scareglow and Stinkor in the store, but I kind of just passed up on them for now. They didn't pique my interest too much. I was a big fan of Fisto as a kid, so that's one of the reasons why I picked him up. And Andra, I just wanted to... she wasn't my favorite character on the show, but the costume looked interesting enough, especially since it looks like Boba Fett. So I kind of had to pick that up. And let's get started. Alright, so now that the first season of Revelation's over, I'm kind of debating on whether or not I want to continue with the line. I think for me, like, I was stoked on Origins because that's kind of like very nostalgia based, and the Masterverse line, it's interesting. You know, some of the future releases that are planned, like, I think it's not just strictly Revelation. I believe I think they're gonna start dabbling in like creating renditions of characters from some of the other lines, like I believe maybe 2000X. I think I might be wrong on that though. But I don't know, I'm kind of like not burned out, but I think my interest level right now on the Revelation stuff isn't as high as it was when it first started. Alright, so first impressions of Andra while she's still in the box. It looks great, and I can't help but keep on seeing Boba Fett when I look at her costume. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. I can tell you right now, I'm not going to like that cloth cape. It looks like a weird, like, crappy material that you'd find like at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. And for me anyways, I preferred like the plastic capes versus the cloth ones. Here's Andra's helmet. It's kind of like a dark drab green, but the faceplate is a much lighter color with yellow eyes. And there's kind of like breathing tubes underneath it that are like kind of like a copper orange and a gold. So this is going to be a head swap. This helmet doesn't go over her head actually. The details are a little soft. They're not super sharp, but that's alright. Because I think for me anyways, if I display her, it's more so it's gonna be without the mask. And she comes with extra pair of hands. We have gripping hands and an opened out hands, and the stock figure comes with fists. And there's also a blast effect for her blaster on her gauntlet. Alright, so we have Andra, and I can tell you right now, I am not liking the feel of this cloth material. It's kind of like a felt, and it's neat that it's not like perfectly even, like it's tattered and ripped towards the bottom. But right now it's winter, and I've been outside shoveling. My hands are just super dry, and it just clings to the material. If you're very like a tactile kind of person, this might annoy you. It's bulky. It doesn't look like it's very form-fitting. So I'm just going to remove this for now. Yeah, so I'm not too keen on this cape or hood or whatever it is. And I'm not sure how I'm going to get back on because it's kind of rolled up kind of funny. Alright, so we're going to set this aside. And we're going to get to Andra herself. This is what we're here for. I've had issues with some of the Revelation figures having a super tight joint. Not so much with Tila and Eva Lynn, the female figures. So I'm hoping that this one's kind of more of the same. Alright, so let's get started. We have Andra. Let's get her into focus. There we go. So her head's, it's sculpted nicely. It kind of, one thing that bothers me, it looks like her neck plugs too far forward into her head. So it almost appears like she's tucking her chin in. I think it would look nicer if her neck was actually straight up and down versus kind of being on that slight mild angle. And there's something about this action figure, when you look at it, her face just kind of looks a little too squat compared to the cartoon. But besides that, the sculpting on the face is really well done, especially in the hair. The paint application on her eyes is done really well also. I like her armor a lot. I think it's really cool. There's some nice texture on her breastplate. And also on these like leather straps. She has a pretty cool belt buckle. Small skirt, and this is kind of a really harder plastic. It's not very flexible at all. As you can see with her arms, they're asymmetrical in design. There's a different gauntlet on each arm. This one's is kind of like, almost like a bare black, or maybe like a dark gray leather with some straps. And it almost looks like fingerless gloves. On this opposite end, it's kind of like, it's very reminiscent of like Boba Fett's like flamethrower on his gauntlet arm. She's wearing long boots with straps and buckles towards the top. Her knee pads kind of had that like circle studded effect, kind of like Man-at-Arms' shoulder armor. And one thing about it too, the knees are, it's like a yellow plastic. So when you bend her knees, you kind of see that, you know, the yellow cutting into the leg. There's part of me that kind of feels like it would have been better if they just did the knees in black plastic and painted over it. So you don't, you know, break that illusion, but it's alright. Alright, so in terms of articulation for Andra, let's get her into focus. Her head rotates left and right. She can look down about, no, she could tuck her chin in about like there. She could look up. Her arms rotate, but her shoulders up here, where her armor is, it's a very hard plastic. There's no give on this material at all. It doesn't flex, doesn't bend. So as soon as her arm goes up, it's just going to clip and hit that. But her arms can go out. She has a bicep cut, so she can swivel at the bicep. Pinless, double pinned elbows. Wrist articulation. And like I mentioned, she comes with extra pairs of hands. She can swivel. She has, oh wow, she has 2 points of swivel towards her torso. She has a waist cut, and below her chest, she has another cut. So she can effectively swivel in 2 different areas in her torso, and also rock a little. Her legs kick up about this far, and then they can also kick out. pinless double jointed knees, so she could bend them. And then she's cut at the boot, so you can swivel at the boot, and she has ankle articulation. Like I pointed out earlier, she does come with an extra head. This is the mast helmet. And let's see how easy it is to remove it. Yeah, this pops off, and this should hopefully just plug in pretty easy. Or it should. Alright, this is not very easy. You'd probably have to heat this up first, maybe like a hairdryer or submerge it in hot water, because it's a very tight fit. It doesn't want to plug in, and I don't want to wreck the peg. But this kind of gives you an idea. Yeah, it's not plugged in all the way, but that kind of gives you an idea of the color scheme. There's some disconnect. This color of green is different than her armor. Likewise, her faceplate doesn't match anything on her body. So I got to rewatch the show and check that out. Like, I'm not sure if this is actually accurate or if this is a case of this two different shades of green being used. Alright, so set that aside. Alright, this head pops on back really easily. In terms of her best buddy Tila over here, let's compare their heights. Alright, so Andra stands in at about a little over 6.5 inches. A little bit taller if you include her ponytail. And when she's next to Tila, let's get them back to back. Yeah, Tila's a much taller character, but maybe about by like, I don't know, a quarter of an inch maybe. Yeah, Tila's a much larger figure. Alright, so one thing I mentioned earlier is that when I look at this figure, I can't help but see Boba Fett. And let's take this out, if I could get this out. So all I see is Boba Fett when I look at this. I'm sure it might be intentional by design, but you know, she has, instead of the gray jumpsuit like Boba Fett has, it's, you know, she has brown and grays, but she has the yellow knee pads, the green armor, the darker armor. You know, she has the red gauntlet, just like Boba Fett does, and you know, his shoots flames also. So I think, you know, they're probably paying subtle homage to like Boba Fett, which I think is neat. Okay, so let's talk numbers on Andra. Is this a figure that you need? I'd say yes. If you're a fan of Revelation and you really enjoyed the Netflix show, I do think she's worth the purchase. You know, she's kind of like, you know, Tila's partner in crime, and it's a well done figure. So I think it's worth the purchase. Overall, I'd give her probably like a 7.5 to an 8. You know, it's a pretty solid figure. I'm not too fond of that cloth cape, but you know, I like the fact that she comes with an extra helmet, the extra hands, and the little blast effect. It's kind of cool to get, you know, this character. So yeah, I recommend her. Alright, so with that being said, once again, my name is Lou. Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber or viewer, thank you so much for your continued likes, comments, and support. I greatly appreciate it. So, until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I will talk to you later.